Welcome back into the Enrichment Sports Source. This segment of our show brought to you by Fast Frame. We tell you they can do just about anything down there. That includes taking an old black and white photo and turning it into a really good-looking piece. They're Babe Ruth and Ted Williams in the Fenway Park clubhouse, and apparently they'd just gone to Smoking Joe's or Old City Cigar, and they picked up some stogies. But they can turn that. That's kind of a greenish gray color, the matte and the double matte there with the cut into, the etched into. It's an old black and white photo that they have made look really, really nice. Fast Frame could do anything in the world. Trust me, if you've got a family photo or anything that you want to turn into a piece of art, into a keepsake forever, take it down to Fast Frame. All right.
That's a Smoking Babes, what that is.
Smoking Babe. Wanted to talk a little bit about Tennessee. We do the scouting report. This is more of an advanced scouting report. Rather than just talk about Marshall Henderson and Ole Miss and then the road trip to Alabama on Saturday, and I want to take a big picture approach to Tennessee right now. This team is, ironically, where it was supposed to be in terms of third in the SEC. Not in the standings, but Florida, Kentucky were expected to be 1 and 2. Tennessee was supposed to be the third best team. Now, RPI-wise, they are. In terms of resume for the NCAA tournament, they are. It's just nobody expected that third best team to be RPI 52 or the record to be 11 and 7. How far is this team away from being what it was cracked up to be before the season? How far is this team from being what it was supposed to be? Or as a Navy man, how far from being all that they can be?
I think this team, as I've said several times, is capable of winning every game that's on its schedule with the rest of the season. There's just no doubt in my mind. They've got the strength inside. They've got guards who can score. They play really solid man-to-man defense, but they are very predictable. Yesterday's game you have to almost discount. The coaches today will not even talk about this game until they're ready to play Florida again, and then they'll be ready to play against Florida. But I think this team is capable of winning every game that it plays. And if it does so, well, obviously it's going to be an NCAA tournament team. But if they fail to win on the road, which I think they are very vulnerable now, they will really struggle to get into the tournament.
I think you're a healthy Jerron Mayman away. I think that's really hurt this team that he hasn't come back at the level we saw before. And then we touched on it before, consistent Antonio Barton and Josh Richardson. Yeah. You get consistency out of those two guys, that makes everything else seem a little bit easier.
See, those are two big pieces.
Yeah.
To me. And I think to quantify it, I'd say 2 or 3 wins and about 25 spots in your RPI. Because I thought Tennessee would be third also, but I thought the gap between Florida, Kentucky, and then Tennessee would be much closer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're not where I thought they'd be, and I'd say 2 or 3 wins is about the difference.
Yeah, they're the same in terms of slotting is all I was getting at. Yeah,
right,
when you look at RPI, you would expect them to have been 25, maybe 30, not 57. Again, it all goes back to the idiot that set up that tough schedule. Mark Pancratz, who was in charge of scheduling over there. Just kidding. Your thoughts, how far away is this team from what it was supposed to be?
But it's funny, in my decision to leave coaching, one of the hardest parts, for more time with my family, all that stuff, hardest part was I thought we were going to be really, really good this year and have a chance to make a great run. And so with that said, I have been surprised of where we are because I didn't think this team, like Jimmy alluded to, would be in talk of being in the bubble. I thought it'd be, we'd be the third best team and we'd be in the tournament right now. And then just the surprising of Antonio, his production, and just the inconsistencies. Because for me, our track record the last 2 years has been, unfortunately, we would lose a Georgia game. We would lose one of those games that we're not supposed to. And here on out, we can't have that lapse. We have to win every game we're supposed to. And then, Florida coming in, you got to hope that you can get them on your home floor.
And we talked about recruiting rankings a little while ago in football, John. Who would have thought in your incoming class your most productive player would have been Darius Thompson? That's another thing that I think is real. The injury to Hubbs.
Well, let's talk. That's a good transition point. From what you've seen this year, Hubbs is out. The rest of the guys you've seen, all right, Stokes could come back, but I don't think anybody believes he will come back. Mayman's going to be gone. McCray's going to be gone. What are you seeing for next year? What do you see in the future for this Tennessee team next season?
In my opinion, a significant drop. If you lose those 4 players, and I think you do, you got 3 senior starters and you got Stokes. You take them out of the equation, who steps up? I'm not sure who that is. I don't see them being nearly as good next year as they are this year. And if you don't get in the NCAA tournament this year, I don't see any prognostication that you'll make it next year.
Well, and I think the other look, the big picture piece of it too is the Hubs injury really affects. Yes, it affects this year, but the thought for Hubs going forward and for this program going forward was Hubs could be a 8, 9, 10-point score for you this year, hopefully, and then going forward, Jordan leaves, Jarnell leaves. Now there's more scoring opportunities for Hubs to average 15 next year and be that go-to guy. So him being injured affects next year as well. Really, you look at our bench. I mean, our starters right now are playing 30-plus minutes a game in conference. So coach doesn't have that confidence in his bench. And so going forward, granted, they fit at coach systems more. So maybe that motor and playing harder, fitting coach system will produce more wins next year. I don't know, but
you might not even be an NIT team next year.
Don, I'm going to finish with you and give you about 30 seconds on this one. Where's this team next year?
Well, I want Mark to know that after 35 years of coaching, I never let an assistant coach set the schedule. If I was going to get credit for winning or get the blame for losing, I was going to set the schedule. That was just my philosophy, Mark. I thought you did a hell of a job this year, to be honest with you.
What do you think moving forward? 30 seconds or so.
Moving forward, this team's fine. You got to discount yesterday's game because, as Ben Bird used to say, you're never as good as your greatest win, which was Virginia, and you're not as bad as your worst loss. Hopefully, that was Florida. They're going to find themselves somewhere in between, and they need to finish no lower than third in the league this year.
Okay, very good. Don, thanks for being with us. I know you'll be back probably into the month, into March or into February or something. Okay, very good. Mark, thanks you. As usual, we'll see you next week right back here. When we come back, Bob Hodgery joins us. We're going to talk lightning round, and then we still have another question. We were talking about next year's team. We're talking about what does the future hold. Is there a chance Cuonzo Martin misses the NCAA tournament, still wins 19 or 20 games, goes to the NIT, and saves his job? It's happened around the SEC in a couple of places. We'll discuss. Come on back on the Enrichment Sports Source.